Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother ears.
Good evening and welcome to episode 132 of the Stone Age Gamer podcast for the week of December 30th, 2016. I am Kris Randazzo, and joining me as always is award-worthy appendage Dan Ryan.
Wait, I just get to be an appendage? I mean, that's kind of... What appendage do I get to be? Do I get to pick?
Think about the name of the show. Think about the name of the episode, and you'll know what I'm talking about.
That's right. I am long and strong, sir.
That's right. And quite coveted.
Gross.
If you could see us, you'd probably notice that we're wearing tuxedos.
We are.
My word for it, we are. And that's because it's awards ceremony time here at the Stone Age Gamer podcast. But before we go any further, here's your weekly reminder that you can email us at mail@geekade.com. Let us know what you think of our show, what topics you would like us to discuss in the future, or just say hello, because we always want to hear from you, the listener. So back to business. It's time once again for Dan and myself to dole out the annual SAGJGLDs. And if you don't know what that stands for, trust us, you're probably better off. We're each going to be doing some random awards for the first half of the show, and then after the break, we'll get to our top 3 games of the year, which we know everyone wants to know what our top 3 games are. The people on the streets, they want to know.
Oh, God, I've been getting stopped all week.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you wait till Wednesday, sir.
My boss comes into my office and says, Chris, do you have your JGLD award figured out? And I'm like, no, I don't.
I'm like, no, I haven't even thought about it yet.
So many contenders.
So many.
Spreadsheets all over the place.
Oh, God, the draft room, the war room has been like, I mean, whoo boy. Or something. Chris, I got to be honest with you, and listeners, I have to be honest with you too. I didn't play a lot of new shit this year. I realized that looking at the list, because like I actually had to look up games that came out this year. I was like, when did this come out? Because I played this, but oh no, that came out in 1987. Damn, I thought it looked retro, but apparently
that retro.
Yeah, man. I'll tell
I
ya.
also went through the list of games that came out this year, and I came up short with number of those that I actually did play. This game didn't win any awards, but I just want to say it out loud because I didn't play it yet, and I want to, but I'm going to at some point. Picross 3D 2 came out here in America. Everyone should play that, including myself. It's not an award. I just wanted to say it.
Oh, goodness.
So how you feeling, Dan? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Chris. I have a beer and good conversation, and, well, there's not much more I could ask for, I suppose, here at the end of this just horrendous year that we have gone through.
Yeah, it's been a...
Carrie Fisher is dead, Chris.
Yeah.
I
she is.
thought Tiffany came up to me on Christmas Day and said, George Michael has sacrificed himself so that Carrie Fisher may live. And his sacrifice was in vain.
That's right. 2016 said, okay, I'll accept that. Nah.
I mean, today, I think we should mention, is Stan Lee. It is his 94th birthday.
It is.
Stan Lee has made it to 94. And there are still 4 days left in this year.
That is true. Do you know who else's birthday it is?
Whose?
Maggie Smith.
Really?
Yeah, Maggie.
How old is she? She's made it.
Maggie Smith is... Let's see, she was born December 28th, 1934, so she's 82. Wow, she's only 82, huh?
Yeah.
She's looked like she was in her 90s since Hook, but I think that was just makeup.
Yeah, she just looks like her makeup then is really what it's come down to. What I think the more fucked up thing is that, look, let's be honest here. If 2016 was not enough to kill Keith Richards, we really need to start worrying about what type of world we're going to leave for our children and Keith Richards. He's going to outlive us all.
Well, I mean, live is kind of a harsh word. I don't know what's...
He's still a walking and a talking, Chris.
He is still technically walking and talking, but I'm not sure how much of him is actually human anymore.
Well, I suppose that's a fair point. However,
I mean, like, he in the Pirates movies where he essentially played, like, you know, Jack Sparrow's dad.
Yeah.
Like, I think he actually is some sort of pirate deity. Like, I don't think he was playing a character in that movie. I think that's what he dresses like on, like, Wednesdays or something. He just wears that outfit, and it was a historical account of the shit that he's done. I mean...
it's very possible. At this point, who the fuck knows, man? I just... Oh, good God.
Hey, 2017, anyway. If you think 2016 was bad, 2017 is stepping up to bat. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I can't wait until this year is over. Things are going to get so much better in 2016. Without getting into anything, 2017 is setting us up for... I feel like 2017 is going to roll up on January 1st and say, 2016, hold my beer.
Hold my beer. I'ma see about a motherfucker.
So let's jump into happier times and talk about hand out some SAGJGLDs, huh? Let's wrap our hands around these media awards and just dish them out. I'll take the first one.
All right.
The first one is going to be a game that most definitely did not come out this year, but I'm using it anyway.
Portal 2.
Portal 2.
Game of the year.
Best use of a power-up, and I'm only saying this because I just did this for the first time like a week ago. Bowser getting the cat suit in Super Mario 3D World. Best use of a power-up. I feel like I should have seen it coming, but like, yeah, they've given Bowser power-ups before in the past. Like, you know, they've given him the super crazy mushroom, but this was the first time I'd ever really seen him like in a cat suit, like the full thing. And then the battle that ensued where he's like climbing up the walls and sliding down and busting through things and swatting at you with his claws. And then he gets the cat suit and the double cherries. So then there's like 2 Bowsers and then 3 Bowsers in the cat suits. And that was a really awesome final battle in that game. I was very, very impressed. Yeah, for me, this year, games I played, that was the best use of a power-up. Runner-up would have to go to the Squareness gun in Axiom Verge. That's just a piece of brilliance right there.
Speaking of Axiom Verge, I would like to give an award this year to Best Game Released on a Nintendo console that was not an HD remake of a previous Zelda game. And that would be Axiom Verge, finally coming out on the Wii U. An amazing game that feels like it really should have been a Nintendo game perhaps this whole time. I mean, I'm very happy that I played it on my PS4 because I got to play it last year. But it is a Metroidvania in the true, like, it is just a Metroid game. Like, you just take out the main character, put in Samus, you'd be fine.
I actually wrote a whole thing about how I really, really disagree with that statement.
Really?
It was, and I mean that.
In look, not in story. In look, I think. In the first area of the game in visuals, I would agree with that. But from gameplay to the way that game feels, if you popped Samus in there, that would be really, really bizarre. And also the weapon sets. Like, I was ticked off when I heard that they were thinking about putting Samus in there and then they took it out. Now, having played the game beginning to end, I think they were absolutely right. I could not imagine Samus using any of the weapons in that game. Now, if they were to put Samus in that game and have her play like Samus and use Samus's power-ups, that would be really interesting. But I think part of what makes Axiom Verge so special is that it very intentionally subverts your expectations as you're playing the game. Like, I'm playing through Axiom Verge, and when I first started playing it, I went in with the
oh, this is good. This is, everyone tells me this is Metroid. And I started playing it, and I was really disappointed by it at first, because, like, well, I don't know, as far as Metroid goes, this is actually pretty lame. This actually isn't as good as Metroid. But once I started realizing that it was actually when it was the glitches, the things that looked like glitches, I was like, boy, they really didn't do a very good job with this Wii U port. And then I got the squareness gun, and it turned out that those glitches were part of the game. And that's when I started judging the game on it being itself. It's like every single time there came to something like, oh, there's a wall. I'm going to get some sort of bombs that can make me go through the wall. No, I'm not. I'm going to get a fucking teleporting ability.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something up there that I can't reach. I'm going to get a double jump or a high jump. No, I'm going to get a weird bionic commando grappling hook thingy. Or better
a little
yet,
bug that I can throw at
I'm
it.
going to get a little drone droid that I can throw and then swap places with. Like,
so cool.
It was such a
game.
remarkable game. I'll talk more about why I liked the game in particular later, but the fact that it was
spoilers,
compared to
Chris.
Metroid, I feel like anybody who is not playing this game because they think it's just Metroid with a coat of paint is doing themselves a tremendous disservice, because it is not just Metroid. It is Axiom Verge, and that is a different animal entirely. I mean,
Yeah.
to the enemies that you face in that game, the types of things that you do, the story is so different from anything that the Metroid franchise has done before. It's a remarkable game.
It really is a fabulous, fabulous game. And, you know, it might be the best game that came out on the Wii U this year. I don't know, because I didn't buy any Wii U games this year. But, I mean,
I would
certainly
say,
bang
think
for
it
the
is.
buck.
It is. I think it is. Of all the games that came out on the Wii U this year that I played, that was it was my highest rated. Yes.
All 6 games that came out on the Wii U this year. That was one of the highest rated of the 6. So there's my first award for best game released on the Wii U that was not an HD remake of a previous Zelda title. It's a very, very specific award, but
A very specific award.
I feel like I'm going to be able to keep giving that one to Nintendo games, like, in perpetuity.
I mean, they're running out of Zelda games to HD remaster. So.
No, because then we can HD the HD. We can remix it.
We can remake the HDs. I mean, there's definitely room for improvement with Twilight Princess HD.
Look at Resident Evil.
That's right. That's true.
There you go. All right.
All right, my next one is best ability to release a game that absolutely no one wants goes to Nintendo for Metroid Prime Federation Force. Can we just take a minute to reflect on the fact that this game exists?
And no one cares.
More to the point, you and me don't care.
Right.
There was a new Metroid game released this year, and neither you or I could be bothered to play it.
No, not even a little bit.
No. I messed around with the demo, and I
didn't even do that.
That was as far. I messed around with the demo on the name Metroid alone, and that was enough for me. I have no interest in this game, and no one has any interest in this game. I don't know anybody who bought it. I'm sure the sales figures are abysmal. They must be in the tens of copies that have sold of that game. If they're up to triple digits, then God bless them. They followed through. They said they were going to release the game. Everybody on the internet said, we don't want it. And Nintendo said, we're going to release it anyway. And nobody wanted that game. And they just followed through with it. They just did it. So that award goes to Nintendo. Runner up on that one, and it was a close second. Goes to Bandai Namco for Lost Reavers.
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly.
What is that?
That is a online multiplayer download only treasure hunting game for the Wii U. Looks like a PlayStation.
I'll be right
2.
back. Hold on. I'll be right back. Chris, pause the podcast.
Okay.
I'm going to go download this and play this. Where has this been all my life?
It looks like a PlayStation 2 game visually. I remember they released a trailer for it. I think it was at E3 2 years ago or something. I remember looking at that thinking, huh? I mean, all right, but it looks kind of neat, but who is this for? And yeah, it's just like it's a co-op online multiplayer. What? I don't know. Like, that is definitely a game that nobody wanted. Maybe somebody on another platform would have played it. Like, this is you get a lot of those situations where it's like, yeah, they release it on Wii U and probably nobody's going to buy it. Like, you're looking at something like Bayonetta 2. Phenomenal game, but it was released on the Wii U, so it cut the audience down pretty slim. This is one of those games that if it released on PlayStation 3, it still wouldn't have done anything.
It still would have been absolute cricket silence.
Yeah, it would have been like maybe 15 or 20 people would be like, hey, this is a neat game, Lost Reavers. Yeah, it's all right. Meh. But yeah. But that being said, no, the award, the JGLD, goes right to Nintendo for Metroid Prime Federation Force. Good work, guys.
Absolutely.
You did it.
My next award that I would like to give out is the award for game that took 13 years to come out but was then released to high praise and then immediately torpedoed by Nintendo because, hey, Federation Force is a thing. That would be another Metroid 2 remake. A game that started being developed by a guy really 13, 14 years ago, remaking Metroid 2 in the style of Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion.
Zero Mission particularly was
Zero
the
Mission,
main inspiration there.
And finally this year, the game releases. And if you look on Dude's blog, the Metroid 2 remake.blogspot.com, you can see that on Wednesday, July 6th of 2016, it is the last update of it's about to come out on August 6th. It was a month away. August 6th, the game comes out. Tons and tons of people download it. Tons and tons of people love it. Tuesday, August 9th, 3 days later, DMCA notice sent to every download host that Nintendo could find to get this game removed. Friday, September 2nd, Dude says that he has received to his personal email a message from Nintendo asking that it be pulled.
And you know what that has said to me since the beginning is that the people at Nintendo of America were clearly fans of this game.
Right.
Because
wanted to let it come out.
Exactly. They let it out on the internet for a couple of days, which means it will never be removed from the internet. It's impossible.
No, there's no way now.
Yeah. But they're Nintendo, and they have to do this. This is their thing. They don't let people make fan games of their properties, and they're completely within their legal rights to do that. Whether or not they should, that's a conversation for another show. But the fact that they shut down all those Pokemon projects, they shut them down before they get out there because they're just like, no, stop it, absolutely stop it. But this one,
absolutely,
they let this game, they let them finish it, they let them release it, and then they sent them the takedown notices. And there's no way they didn't know about this game beforehand because it had been in development for so long.
Yeah, this was not a surprise.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure I would bet. I actually wouldn't bet much on it because you never really know with Nintendo, but it is my feeling that Reggie had something to do with this not being taken down immediately because I know Reggie's a big Metroid fan, and I know Reggie played this, and I'm sure he liked it. And I would like to think that somewhere in the universe, somebody has reached out to this guy and said, good job, why don't you come make a Metroid game for us?
Right? Because this is a great game.
Really is.
It's a great game.
It really, really is. And you'll probably hear me talk more about it later.
Spoilers again.
Spoilers again.
All
okay,
right, Chris, what do you got?
Dumbest title. And I wish a Kingdom Hearts game had come out this year. I really do. But instead, Square Enix will still take it with Bravely Second End Layer.
Ugh.
What? And I think these games are awesome. I've played very little of them, but they're just these glorious love letters to old school RPGs. I think they're fantastic. But Bravely Default was ridiculous. Bravely Second End Layer, these are all words, but they don't make any sense together. How do you bravely second something? And what is an end layer besides the layer on the bottom of your biscuit?
Yeah, it's a really dumb name.
It really is. It's remarkable that this game sells to anybody, because if you walk into a store and you see those words on a box,
you just move on. You just go, there's no way that's good.
What is... Okay, sure, whatever. You do
Why
you,
not?
game. Oh, look, Pokemon. Runner-up would have to be... I can't even say this one without laughing. Box Boy. Because when making a sequel to Box Boy 2 is just too obvious.
Yeah, just... when putting a 2 after the original title is easy for you, you got to come up with something brand new.
It's so played out. Let's just do Box Boy. And
So
I hope,
played
because there's a third one coming out in Japan, it is my
Box
sincerest
Boy?
hope that it is Box Boy. Or Box Boy Box.
I really hope it is. I really hope they don't go with like Box 3 or something like that. That would be upsetting.
Cube Boy. You know what? I
Cube
would actually
Boy.
accept Cube Boy.
Cube
I would
Boy
accept
be
that.
fine. That's creative. That's clever.
Oh,
All right.
goodness.
Well,
But they would have to write it like Box Cubed.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah, yeah.
it would be that would be if Square Enix was making it.
And then there would be something about like fighting for Star Sagas or some bullshit afterwards.
Oh goodness.
Well, I would like to follow up your terrible name with my award for most interestingly named game that I did not play but want to based on the name alone, and that is the PlayStation 4 game Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
And now I want to play that too.
I know literally nothing about this game except that it got an 88 Metascore, and it's a first-person like puzzle game.
Okay.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Keep talking, and nobody explodes.
It's not a lot of incentive to keep talking, honestly, in a video game setting, unless it's
No.
like your loved ones.
Right. Well,
unless
it
it's
is
actually a game that is like somebody comes to your house and straps bombs to your loved ones.
Well, and you might be able to like trick yourself into that because it is a PlayStation VR game. So it's one of those things like we were talking about last week of like the other players are looking at the screen shouting instructions to you while you are trying to defuse the bomb in your virtual reality visor. So that's really awesome and sounds like a lot of fun.
Agreed.
But what a great name. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. That is an amazing name.
It's no Guacamelee, but it'll do. That's got to be the best video game title I've heard in years.
Guacamelee, yeah, that's
Guacamelee.
pretty goddamn good.
I'm
It's such a
finally
good game.
putting myself to finishing that, by the way. It's
Yeah, can we give it an award for best Guacamelee game? Guacamelee? That game's fucking incredible.
definitely wins that category. All right, let's see. The next one I've got is this is a coveted one, and it was in high contention. It actually wasn't. This is the for fuck's sake, can't I just play this with normal controls award? Goes to Star Fox Zero. Because I really want to play more of that game. I really do. But every other time I pick it up, not every time, just every other time, I get so frustrated with it I want to pull my hair out because I can't do things because I'm moving the gamepad around and the analog sticks around, and it is the complete opposite of intuitive, and it just makes me want to cry because the game's so cool. It's a new Star Fox game with great level designs and stupid dialogue. It's a new Star Fox game. Why can't I just play it with analog sticks, you sons of bitches? You know Platinum didn't want to do this shit. You know Platinum was just like, have an alternate control scheme in there. I want to drive around in this tank. I want to drive around the Landmaster. I want the Chicken Walker to be awesome because it should be, but it's not. You bastards ruined it.
You didn't stop to think if you should.
Exactly.
You knew that you could, but you shouldn't have.
You shouldn't have. I get it. They wanted to make a game that showed off what the Wii U gamepad was good for. And what it showed us was that the Wii U gamepad is not good for anything other than Mario Maker. That's not true. It's also really good for Mario Chase and the party games on Nintendo Land. But really, guys, the second screen thing, it's not intuitive. It doesn't work. We don't have that many eyes.
I can't look up and down at the same time.
I can't.
Everything on the I've tried.
Here's the biggest kicker, and like the similar situation happened with that Kirby game, the claymation looking one, the sequel to Rainbow Curse.
Like Robot something.
Not Planet Robobot. That was great. That was just a Kirby platformer with a really great hook. Robobot's awesome. It was the Wii U one where you had to draw the lines and Kirby would roll along them. The DS version was phenomenal because you're looking at two screens the same size and they're right on top of one another. But the Wii U game, the game itself, the actual visuals, the claymation style is gorgeous, but not on the gamepad because it's like standard definition on the gamepad. You can't see the detail. So, but you have to look on the gamepad the whole time while you're playing the game. So you're never looking at the screen appreciating all the great work that got put into making a claymation-looking Kirby game. It's ridiculous. And the Star Fox Zero is the same way. Like, a lot of the stuff that's happening on the screen is the really cinematic stuff. So you're looking at I'm looking at my TV the whole time, and every now and then I have to look down at the gamepad, and I'm just like, why? I don't want to look at the gamepad. Like, it's very cute that all the talking comes out of the gamepad, but
sure.
Every Wii U game that I play on a regular basis, I'm playing with the Pro Controller. And that's going to be the same thing when Switch comes out. I'm getting a Pro Controller, and that's what I'm using, because that's what I want to use. Star Fox Zero. Retroactive runner-up in that department goes to Metroid Other M. I'm still pissed at that game for a number of reasons, but the controls are probably chief among them. We remote sideways, not in a 3D game.
I just don't want to.
I don't want to move a character in 3D space with a D-pad. Nobody wants to do that.
Nope. It's terrible.
Not when there are analog sticks readily available. All right, you got any more? You got another one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Best use of a confusing title when you probably should have just called it Pokemon Tournament goes to Pokken Tournament or Pokken Tournament. I don't even know how you fucking say it. Because Pokken is not a fucking word.
No. It's a cross between Pokemon and Tekken. Pokken Tournament. It's ridiculous.
It's awful. That game also gets the award for best use of a luchador costume in a Pokemon game.
Most definitely.
But like, you have a Pokemon game, a Pokemon fighting game on your console that is struggling, and from what I understand, the Pokemans are relatively popular.
Yes.
And you put out a game,
want that name in the title.
And don't call it Pokemon Tournament, you call it Pokken Tournament.
Yeah. And more importantly, like, you're making a Pokemon Tekken game, like that's the trick there. They're making a Pokemon Tekken game, and they didn't just make Pokemon versus Tekken.
That would have been okay.
Come on. How awesome would it have been to be Luchador Pikachu fighting against Hayachi?
Or fighting against King. Keep the wrestling theme going.
There's so much potential for ridiculous. Like, have you ever played the Wii U version of Tekken Tag Tournament?
No.
It's so great. It's so great. It's everything the other versions was, but it's also got these absolutely ridiculous Nintendo modes, complete with absurd costumes, like the costumes for like Jin and whatnot to dress him up like Mario, which look so obscenely ridiculous. Like like Eddie Gordo in a Toad costume is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It is absolutely ridiculous.
That sounds pretty awesome, actually.
And they also have this stupid mode it's really fun, but it's really stupid. It's like mushroom mode, where you're just playing Tekken, except every now and then a super mushroom or a poison mushroom fly out onto the screen, and if you get it, you get super huge or super small. It's so ridiculous, and I can't believe that nobody bothered to play it. I mean, I guess I kind of can, but because it was on the Wii U at launch, but it's really good. It's a really solid Tekken game, and Tekken is no stranger to being ridiculous. So why they didn't incorporate more Tekken into their Pokken tournament, I do not know. Ridiculous. Pokemon Cross Tekken, come on.
Make it happen.
Also,
can we stop with the cross thing? That's so dumb. It's not. It doesn't work.
I think it works in Japanese. They really should rename that stuff when it comes over to America. But I'm pretty sure that linguistically that works in Japanese.
It doesn't work here.
Nah, it doesn't. Versus.
That's or end.
Yeah, when it's a team up.
Well,
because like we just talked about last week, that Blaster Master game. And it's what the hell's the company that's making it? They did Azure Striker Gunvolt, blah blah. Whatever. Yeah. It's that company cross Sunsoft. I'm like, guys, stop.
You guys are end.
It's end. This is an end. It's not.
I promise you're an end.
It's technically a crossover, I guess, but this is an end situation.
This is most definitely an end situation. Oh, goodness. Do you have any more, Chris?
I got one more.
Okay.
One more. Biggest disappointment.
Ooh.
This was a very easy one. Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
It is hard to be more disappointed in a game than I was with Mighty Number 9. It's not even that it was bad. It's just that it was mediocre at best. And that was the biggest kick to the crotch. Like the art direction was soulless. The character designs have all this potential to be great, and when they actually show up and move in the game, it's just flat. Bleh. It is dead fish all over the place. And the Wii U version is crippled because of the loading times. I could have played through this game on any other platform. I could have done that. Like I could have gotten on if I was playing the game on a system that didn't have the absolutely crippling loading times, I actually would have been able to get through it, because fundamentally, like, the idea of this game is sound. Like, the general gameplay conceit of the dashing through the enemies that you've weakened is a sound strategy. There is a really good idea for a game there, but the ultimate execution was just dumb. It was just mediocre and bland, dead fish. I just, no. I was so disappointed in this game. I really, really, really wanted this to be the second coming of Mega Man. I really, really wanted this to be worthy of the money that I put into the Kickstarter, but it wasn't.
Right? The money that everybody put into the Kickstarter.
Yeah. Like, everybody kickstarted this thing. And I think we're still waiting on the 3DS and Vita versions. Like, they don't even exist yet.
No.
Come on.
At this point, they probably shouldn't. I mean,
if it wasn't for the fact that it was a Kickstarter, I would agree. But people already bought those games, so that's issue refunds. You got to make this right some way, shape, or form. I guess they don't have to, but
no, Inafune doesn't have to, but
he fucking should. And the runner-up in that category goes to Street Fighter V. Just, yeah. I mean, it's Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. Yeah. Love Street Fighter. We'll always play new Street Fighter. This is the first time a mainline numbered Street Fighter game has just been like, don't care.
Well, to show you, like we said at the very beginning of like, hey, I haven't played a lot of new games that came out this year. I haven't played it. It's a new Street Fighter game that I haven't played. It didn't blow my skirt up. So I didn't play it.
Yeah, there was nothing I looked at that game and said, wow, that's fundamentally different from Street Fighter 4. I'd like to give that a try.
Right. And then all the reviews came out and I went, yeah, I guess I don't need to play it. All right. Moving on. I think going back to your point about Mighty Number 9, though, like I am currently looking at the Metacritic page for Wii U releases. Because I was curious as to where it ranked in the games that came out on Wii U this year. And it is in last place of all the games that were released on Wii U this year.
Wow.
Out of the 13 games that are reviewed on Metacritic, It's 13th.
That was talk about a brutal year for Nintendo fans, huh?
13 games, Chris.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't been wanting for games to play. But I mean, I guess that's me. I don't have a ton of time to put into playing games, but I have never found myself bored. I finished Axiom Verge, and then I moved on. I said, you know what? I'm going to finally finish Mario 3D World. And then I did, and it was incredible. And then I said, all right, well, time to move on to Guacamelee. I never finished that one, so now I'm moving on that. And I got Freedom Planet after that, Octodad after that, and by then the Switch will be out. I mean, I am not wanting for games to play on my Wii U. The drought does not hurt me.
No, it doesn't hurt. But like going through this list, and I'm just going to give them to you real quick because I'm now going to give an award for, hey, maybe we should have put out more fucking games. Goes to the Wii U this year because they released, and I'm just going to give you the Metacritic order from worst to best. So starting at 13, we have Mighty Number 9, then Shadow Puppeteer, Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. That gets the award for way too long of a title this year. Then Star Fox Zero is at 10. Star Fox Guard. Paper Mario Color Splash. Pokken Tournament. Jotun Valhalla Edition. Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE.
It's Sharp FE.
No, that's a hashtag. Sorry. I mean, I know it's also a Sharp, but in 2016, that's a fucking hashtag.
Oh, no, I agree with you. It's a fucking hashtag, but I don't know if they went, they knocked on Square Enix's door and said, we're making a really strange Persona Fire Emblem crossover game. What should we call it? But, yeah, that is that game. Oh, excuse me. That game frightens me on so many levels.
Number 4 was Severed, made by the guys who made Guacamelee, made by Drinkbox Studios, which I think receives the, the Wii U has a touchpad award. Then number 3 would be Mutant Mudds Super Challenge. Then number 2, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. And number 1, Axiom Verge. So I have 2 more awards that I would like to give out for this half of the show. One would be the Xbox One game that I actually did want to play, and I'm kind of sad that I don't have an Xbox One so I can play it. The Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition.
Ooh.
Just looked like a really cool, interesting side-scrolling indie game, and that's really the kind of shit that I'm into right now. Like it was right in my wheelhouse, and that's the one. Have you seen anything on this game?
I have. It looks amazing.
Looks really cool, right?
Yeah. Not quite enough to make me buy an Xbox One, but
oh no,
you know.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Finally, I would like to give out the Tiffany Ryan Special Recognition Portal 2 Award to Portal 2 for still being the best fucking game ever.
Yes, I believe that was a hotly contested category this year. It was really up against Portal 2, but it won out in the end.
Portal 2 did take out Portal, which, I mean, it's really just because the gameplay of Portal, like, it's just not long enough.
It's also not Portal 2, and
it's also not
that's kind
Portal
of a
2.
requirement for winning the Portal 2 award, is that it be Portal 2. And that's really what knocked everything else out of the category. I mean, Doom was up there, but again,
Doom was up.
It just wasn't Portal 2.
Overwatch is not Portal 2?
Yeah, no, Pokemon Go, really, it gave
Go
gave it a run for its money, but it's not Portal 2.
No, it's not Portal 2. It is not. Did you, when you were looking at lists, did you get the feeling that maybe you should have played Overwatch at some point this year? Because I did.
Nah.
No.
I look at Overwatch and I seriously, I look at Overwatch and I don't feel like I'm missing a damn thing. Like, I look at Overwatch and I'm like, I'm sure that it's very good at what it does, but what it does is not what I'm into.
Did you know that was a team shooter? Because I found that out today.
Really?
That's how out of touch I am. I literally, the only thing I knew about Overwatch was that there was a monkey. That's what I knew.
I didn't even know there was a monkey. I just knew that there were a lot of, like, that people love cosplaying as the girl characters in that game.
Yeah.
And then it's a team shooter, and like Team
I
Fortress
didn't
or
know that.
Splatoon. And
I thought, like, I got confused for a second and thought maybe that the monkey was Harambe. And then I went, no, Harambe was the other thing. And I was like, fuck, I am an old man. Shit, I am out of touch. I don't know shit about, like, everybody's game of the year. I don't fucking know a thing about.
Yeah, everyone was talking about. I mean, it's just like Team Fortress 2 for me, where it's like,
Yeah,
I
okay.
know that objectively speaking, this is really good at what it does, but it will never be for me because it's just like Splatoon will never be for me. But I mean, Splatoon has a single player mode that I'm interested in, so I'll probably buy the new version of Splatoon because the single player mode in Splatoon 1 was really good, really clever. I was very, very. I would love to see some expansion on that. But you know, Overwatch. I'm glad that it's doing well. I'm particularly glad that Overwatch is doing so well because it's not gray. It's not dogshit brown and gunmetal gray. It is.
Yeah.
It is a bright and colorful game that everybody loves, and that just makes me happy.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good thing. Thank you, Martha Stewart.
Yeah. All right.
Let's do some commercials.
Let's take a break. All right, we're going to take ourselves a break, like I just said 4 seconds ago, because I'm just the king of transitions.
You really are.
I really am. Then when we come back, we're going to talk about our favorite games of the year. You are listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com, so stick around. And now here's a look at some of the other original content available right now at Geekade.com. First up, remember a little while back when we said we had a new comic book podcast was coming? Well, we weren't lying, and it's finally here. In the first 2 issues, Dan and Nick discuss great comic moments of 2016, including ones from movies and TV shows, as well as the books they're based on. Settle in and get caught up on Bags and Boards, issues 1 and 2, Year in Review.
It's amazing, if I do say so myself.
It is.
I'm on it.
And you do say so yourself.
I do. It's a really good show. Next, though you might not know it by the weather, winter has officially begun, and Kris and Vicky have just the thing to keep you warm and cozy, if you like that sort of thing. It's a special new episode of the Wave Back Music Podcast, and our hosts take us on a tour of ice levels from all manner of eclectic games. Don't miss the Wave Back Podcast, episode 35, Winter Special II. Winter Special 2.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Aye, aye.
Then, on our YouTube channel, it's another fun-filled episode of our wrestling recap show, Ring the Bell. This time, the guys tackle Roadblock end-of-the-line results, brush up on their English, and take another peek inside the writer's room. Plus, JR gets some help in figuring out the TNA deletion angle, and we get another installment of Nick's first impressions. If you like wrestling and creepy next-door neighbors, you'll love Ring the Bell Roadblock end-of-the-line 2016.
Finally, this month's Geekade Top 10 is a Christmassy treat. Karen ranks the Doctor Who Christmas specials from the last decade or so and lets you know which ones are the best, in case you don't have time to watch them all. Check it out and see how her ranking stacks up against your own. Use it as a barometer to gauge this year's The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Send her emails to tell her that she's wrong, and why. Actually, don't do that last thing. Find out which is the merriest special of them all in Geekade Top 10 Doctor Who Christmas specials.
Can I just say about the Return of Dr. Mysterio that I find it fascinating that they got Justin Chatwin to play a superhero-type character again after having played Goku in Dragon Ball Evolution? Really quite impressive.
Yeah. There are some things I could say about that episode, but I won't.
We'll talk about it another time. You can catch all this great stuff plus tons of other articles, videos, podcasts, and more right now at Geekade.com. And we're back. We're time to hand out the awards for our favorite games of the year. We each picked 3, or at least I think we did. Mm-hmm. So we each have a top 3 games for 2016. I went first last time, so Dan, why don't you go first this time? What is your number 3 game of 2016?
Number 3 game of 2016 would be Gone Home, the console edition. See, we've talked about previously how we're kind of at the point in our lives, and you and I both, where we don't have a ton of time. RPGs are just not in our wheelhouse anymore.
Yeah, it's not much of an option.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15 came out and I went, I don't have 40 hours to dedicate to this thing. I just don't.
And then I watched somebody fill up their gas tank and I said, now I'm glad I don't have 40 hours to play this.
Now, I'm glad I didn't spend $70 to go get gas. Jesus Christ, I just couldn't. Anyway, so Gone Home, the console edition. This was a PC game. It's a first-person narrative adventure game, I guess is the best way to describe it. And it was a free game on PS Plus earlier in the year, and I think it took 2.5 hours to finish. Start to finish, and it is just a story-driven thing. Like you play the eldest daughter of a family, and you come home to your house after spending a year overseas studying, right? And when you come home, nobody's there. She was expecting to come home, like, I've been away for a year, and nobody's here. So, like, you start by hoping that the key to the front door is still in the secret hiding spot. Lo and behold, it is. So you have to unlock the door. And you go in, and the house is just deserted, and there's, like, all these, like, little clues and all this little weird, like, stuff that's going on, and you have to unlock it as you go through, and, like, you're opening drawers and looking through bedrooms and stuff. And, like, the whole time that Tiff and I were sitting around playing it, we kept waiting for the big, like, jump out scare moment to happen. Because the whole game, like, there's this little, like, subplot with, like, a ghost, and the whole time you're going through this house, like, you're fully expecting a big, like, jump scare moment. That never comes. And the game is so much better for it because it ramps up that tension and keeps you on the edge the whole time. But really all you're doing is just finding out what happened to this family. And, like, I don't want to spoil what's happened to the family, but it's really well done. And the house, the level design, I suppose, of this house is really interesting, the way it's laid out and the way you can explore it. And there's really no way to fail at this game. You know what I mean? Which I also kind of like. I'm like, I can't be bad at this. I can just kind of go do this. And it looks great. For what controls are there, they're not very complicated. It was just a really cool little narrative adventure. And like I said, you can finish it in 2.5 hours or so. That's awesome. So that gets number 3 for me.
All right. I've never played it. I hope to at some point, but like that and Undertale have been on my radar for a little while now. But
I could not get through Undertale.
I know almost nothing about it. It's one of those games that everyone tells me, like, you liked Earthbound, you'll like Undertale, and
I don't like Earthbound, so maybe that's why I don't like Undertale.
That must be it. I don't know. I liked Earthbound. I understand why some people rank Earthbound as highly as they do. I think it's insanity that they do.
Yeah, it's because they want to seem cool. Like, I like this weird game that nobody's ever played before. Because you have to get the special cracked edition, and only I know how. Like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Shut up.
I remember when I beat Earthbound last year, and I got to the ending of it, and I was like, all right, I get why people like this now. This is actually a really remarkable experience, but it's not a better game than Chrono Trigger. Like, it's just not.
No, it's not. No, it isn't.
It's just not. Anywho's, my number 3 is Axiom Verge.
All right.
Holy crap. I was very, very impressed with this game. Like I said earlier in the podcast, at first I was pretty disappointed because I went in expecting Metroid, and by the time I finished, I played it as often as I could wrap my hands around it. I was constantly enthralled with this game. It was a very unique world. It looked like Metroid. It has a lot of things that are clearly inspired by Metroid, but like I said before, it doesn't feel like Metroid at all. The exploration feels completely different. The power-up structure, again, completely different. The way you look for items in the game, the way you look for how to figure out where to go next, like all of the ideas in this game are so not Metroid. It's amazing. It's really just such an incredibly put together game from beginning to end. Visually, it's got a lot of really unique ideas to it. Your drill gun, the squareness gun. I call it the squareness gun. That's not what it's called. It's the thing that messes with the glitchiness nature of the game. The bombs. The fact that after I finished the game, I looked at videos of the game and people are using weapons that I didn't even find. Like,
yeah, there's so much.
And I found some great weapons in the game. Like, I actually wound up. This is one of the things that I liked. Another thing that I liked so much about this that really subverted my expectations from comparing it to Metroid, because Metroid, your offenses in Metroid are very. You get long range and wide attacks, and the more powerful your weapons get, the bigger they get, and the farther they reach with more power. Right. And also, eventually, you get the screw attack. Axiom Verge does not have a screw attack, and from what I've come to understand, and the weapon that I used for at least 90% of the game was the little green weapon that shot only like 2 feet in front of your face, but was stronger than everything else in the game.
Yeah.
And so the way I played it was anything that I could get near, I would soak whatever damage I could, because I mean, I knew that I could handle it, and I would just go right up to them and dodge and just blast things real close. But the way the weapons are designed in this game, they're all so different that you can use the way you combat the enemies in this game can be remarkably different no matter who you are. It suits so many different play styles, whereas Metroid's combat is really kind of unilateral. Like there is one way to approach combat in Metroid, and that is blow shit up. And like obviously you can either use the beams, or you can be the kind of player that switches to your power bombs and super missiles more often. I always stick with just the main beams because I'm a kind of an ammunition hoarder, but there wasn't any of that in Axiom Verge. There was no analog to the bomb. There was no analog to the screw attack. There was no analog to the plasma beam. Like, these things that are the Metroid staples and what make Metroid so special, this game intentionally screwed with that. Like, you would come to a wall and say, I'm going to get the bombs and I'm going to blow through this wall. And no, you're not. You're going to teleport through the wall. And then that teleporting ability is going to keep getting better. And that's the kind of stuff that I...
cooler trench coats that make you teleport farther.
Did not see that shit coming. When I got the teleport ability, I'm like, all right, well, how are they going to get me through this wall? Oh, I'm going to get something that's going to let me teleport through that. And then you're going to get another teleportation ability beyond that lets you do it faster in midair so that you can jump up into the air, teleport, then throw your little bug thing up, and then teleport up to where the bug thing was to get up to this higher level in the game. Like, these advanced techniques, it's absolutely brilliant. I can't say enough good things about this game. It is so much better than you may think it is just from looking at it. Because if you look at it and you see a Metroid clone, you're dead wrong. It is so much more than just a Metroid clone. And the way that it consistently subverted my expectations and was just so great on its own right, and that the story itself was also really interesting. Like, I wanted to know who Trace was. I wanted to know who, what the hell is his other version of himself? I can't remember the villain's name. When you finally get to him, though, and it's like...
and he's all crazy and...
Yeah, he's like, there is no saving him. But then you get into the fight, and then those giant robot head things that you're talking to throughout the game show up, and like they're helping you fight him. And your relationship with them, where one of them just kills you in the middle of the game and then resurrects you later, and you're just like, please don't kill me again. Like,
please don't do that.
Just don't do that. Because
we've established that you can. It's such a wonderfully paced game as well. Like, you're always getting something new. And like you said, I can almost guarantee that your playthrough of that game with the weapons that you found was different than my playthrough of that game with the weapons that I found. Mm-hmm. You know, and the different little secrets and little rooms that you find and ways to get from place to place. It's just such a cool game.
It really is.
Really, really loved it when I played it last year, and I'm really happy that it finally came out for people like you who are diehard Nintendo fans who said, you know, next console generation I can only get one, and I'm getting the Nintendo console, whatever it is. Like, I'm happy that this game is able to be enjoyed by absolutely everybody.
Yeah, if you are a Nintendo fanatic, if you're a Nintendo fan and you have access to any of the consoles this is available for, if you like Metroid, you will like this game. But just don't go into it expecting a Metroid experience, because it's something different and it's really, really good. What's your number 2, Dan?
Number 2, and this is going to be kind of a weird one, I think, to be like my number 2 favorite game this year, but like I think I may have played this just an incredible amount, you know, with family, and it's Tricky Towers. Okay. Do you know anything about Tricky Towers?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay. Here's pretty much the premise of Tricky Towers. And this was a game that I played a lot with my kids this year. Like, I would get home from work and we would come downstairs and like we would just play this game. It's basically Tetris without the box. So, you know, in Tetris, you can stack things up against the side and you make your lines and all that good shit. In Tricky Towers, you have the same shaped pieces. However, the object of the game is to stack up as high as you possibly can. But because you don't have a box to lean against, your tower, if you do not build it correctly or stable enough, will start to lean and teeter and totter and start wobbling. And there's competitive modes, like I would play against my kids, and like there's a race who can get up to this line the furthest, and you have to start like judging, okay, I've got a solid enough base here, so if I can stack this one on top here and stack this one here, like maybe it'll start to lean, but if I bring down the next piece, like do I sacrifice stability for speed? And like it's just a really, really fun puzzle game that has this really great multiplayer component that takes something that we're all familiar with. I mean, I don't think there's too many people, especially, you know, certainly people in our age group that don't know what Tetris is and don't immediately recognize those pieces and kind of know just inherently what to do with them. But to take that thing and then kind of flip it to where like, okay, now it's a race to stack up as tall as you can, or to, you know, like drop bombs on the other players so like their tower starts to fall, and it's just this really, really cool, really fun game. And it's super cheap. It's like a $10 or $15 game, and it's a blast. Like, I promise, if you buy this game, and especially if you play against somebody who's any good at Tetris, like my kids they know the Tetris pieces because I have Tetris stuff that they know, but like they're not any good at it. You know, they're little kids. Like Tetris isn't in their wheelhouse. But like you and I could go back and forth on this game for hours because we're both pretty damn good at Tetris at this point.
That sounds really fun.
It's so fun. It was such a fun game. And again, this just like Gone Home, like I did buy a lot of games this year, but this again was another free PS Plus game where it was like, I don't know, this might be cool. Oh my God, this is amazing. I love this game. You know, so Tricky Towers, man, super, super fun.
What's it available on?
It's on PS4 and PC. But like you do get to pick characters. Like I think there's 4 selectable characters, and like there's magic spells that you can cast like on the other player's tower to mess them up as they're doing stuff. But you can also like there's offensive and defensive spells that like it's a really, really deep game, but it's so fun. It's so fun. I loved it.
That sounds awesome. I'm sad I never heard of it before, but it sounds kind of fantastic. I'm again don't have don't have a PlayStation 4, but one of these days I will. And
we will play this because I mean, really think about this. Like, if somebody were to say to you, like it sells itself, competitive Tetris. All right, I'm in. Like, yeah. That's it. That's all I needed. You know.
Competitive Tetris where you don't make lines.
Where you don't make lines. You're just
I'm
stacking.
interested.
Yeah, you're just getting as tall as you possibly can.
That's fantastic.
Awesome game. Yeah.
All right, good pull. All right, my number 2 is Rhythm Heaven Megamix. Oh, I love Rhythm Heaven.
I had a feeling this was going to be on your list.
Love Rhythm Heaven, and I finally I just got this not like a week ago. I just got this.
Right.
I got an eShop gift card for Christmas, and it went straight to Rhythm Heaven Megamix. I've been itching to get this game ever since they released the demo of it, and it did not. It is not. I'm not done with it yet. It has not disappointed me. All right, I can't say it hasn't disappointed me at all. It does have a story mode that is a bit overbearing. It is very, very chatty in between rhythm games, which is kind of obnoxious because as much as I should care, I don't care about the story. I'm not reading it at all because most of the time I'm playing it with my kid. Right. John has just developed this deep-seated love of Rhythm Heaven. He loves watching me play rhythm games, and he loves the music, and it's super fun. I've played through all of Rhythm Heaven for DS and Rhythm Heaven Fever several times over at this point. We'll just turn it on, and he'll pick random rhythm games, and we play them. He loves them. So once there was an opportunity for me to get a new one, I didn't know how the structure of this game was going to work, and once I started playing it, I was just thrilled with it. So it's split up into these different sections, and each section has 4 rhythm games in it. One from they're all remastered to work on the 3DS, and they're in 3D. They look great. They're all not HD, but
right.
The resolution is designed for the 3DS, and including with your DS games, since you played that book style, it's all the games have been altered to work in a more widescreen format. Right. The first game is from the original Rhythm Heaven Rhythm Tengoku that didn't come out here in America, so all those games are new to me. Then the second level is a game from Rhythm Heaven DS. Third game is from Rhythm Heaven Fever. Fourth game is a new one, and that's awesome. So and they're not just the same thing as the games from the previous games. They're like, for example, Air Rally, which is one of my favorite ones from Rhythm Heaven Fever on Wii, is the game where the cat and the dog, Baxter and Forthington, are playing badminton in airplanes. And
Sure.
Sure,
that totally makes sense.
Because Rhythm Heaven is delightful, but it's set to a different song at a different tempo. So it's just a remix of that stage, which is great. And then later in the game, you wind up playing that game as it originally appeared in the Wii game, which is cool. So all of the games from, I'm imagining the ones from the original Game Boy Advance one, which is also the same for all the games in the DS, which are great because they're no longer tapping the touchscreen. They've mapped them to buttons, which works so much better for a Rhythm Heaven game. And the Wii games, they're all kind of remixed and redesigned. And then you get to this part where you're like, all right, well, we finished this part of the story, but now there's a tower. No, there's 6 towers. And all of those towers each have lineups of more rhythm games that are usually like the sequel parts to the rhythm games you played earlier, which are either like harder versions of those, set the different music, kind of like they do that in the other Rhythm Heaven games, where there was like Built to Scale and then Built to Scale 2. Right. And usually the second one is the original version from the original game, which is harder than the version you played earlier. And then they all lead up to remixes, which are some of the best stuff that Rhythm Heaven has to offer, where they take the previous 4 stages you played and then somehow mix them all together without any practice, and you have to just remember how each one of these games plays as the level's going on. They're brilliant. So the other day I finished all the towers, and I was sitting on this was actually just last night. I'm sitting on the couch, and me and John are playing the game, and Karen is next to me. And I was like, we did it, buddy. We beat all the towers, and the credits are rolling. I'm like, we beat the game. And Karen's like, geez, you beat it already? I'm like, I have a suspicion that as soon as the credits are done rolling, something else is going to happen. Because earlier, before I got to all the tower stages, they started to roll the credits, and then the character that was heading back to Heaven World fell right back down, and I needed to do all the tower stages. And so it rolled all the credits. It said the end, except then the character was just like, well, I made it back to Heaven World and everything's all screwed up, so you need to come here now and do a bunch more stuff. And it's a whole new set of rhythm games. And then there's I just found last night when I was playing it before I went to bed this whole other challenge section, which wasn't at all what I thought it was. It's actually got you complete these challenges and you get these coins and you can use them to buy other rhythm games from previous games. So there's a ton of content here and it all looks and sounds great. It's like if there was ever a game to play with headphones, it's friggin' Rhythm Heaven. And my favorite one of like actual Rhythm Heaven stage from any of the Rhythm Heaven games is a game called Flock Step. And it's just about these marching birds that are called the Hue Birds of Happiness. And
Sure.
The next episode of the next episode of Waveback is actually going to be on Rhythm Heaven Fever, and I can't wait to talk more about this song. But being able to play that with headphones in and actually hear how complex the music is, because the great thing about this game, one of the other great things, is that a lot of the music is just really good. It's incredibly well composed. Rhythm Heaven is, in my opinion, one of Nintendo's absolute best franchises, and I love this game. I love that it exists. I love that it's so much more than I thought it was going to be, that there's so much new content that I finally get to play a lot of the games from the Game Boy Advance game that never came out here in America, and that I finally get to play a lot of my favorite DS ones without the unresponsive, ridiculous touch controls. Rhythm Heaven Megamix is a goddamn masterpiece. If you have a 3DS, which a lot of people do, give it a chance. Seriously, you gotta give this game a chance. There's too many people that don't give Rhythm Heaven a chance because it's a rhythm game, and a lot of people don't like that kind of stuff. But it is 100% Nintendo charm. It is so. There's a game in there where you're ripping hairs out of onions and potatoes that are growing as you go. You have a pair of tweezers and you just pull out these hairs to rhythm. There's, like I said, the marching birds. The Hue Birds of Happiness. At one point during the stage, the camera pans out to, like, you know, it's just a field full of birds, and then it pans out to an aerial shot of the country, then to the world, then to the galaxy, then that galaxy is inside another Hue Bird's eyeball, and it pans right back out to where you started, because apparently the entire universe is in the eye of a Hue Bird of Happiness. It's so strange. I love this game so much. Lumberjack, one of the new games. It's actually in the demo. It's called Lumberjack, and you are a bear who's a lumberjack, and there's these cats. There's this cat standing next to you, and the cat will pick up logs and place it in front of you that you have to cut in half. Except the cats move in a way that I can't even describe, and it is incredibly disturbing and hilarious. And by the time you're done playing the stage, not only is there two cats handing you logs of various sizes to cut with your axe, but there's an army of those cats stretching and dancing in the strangest, most disturbing way possible behind you. It is wondrous.
Yeah, that
you have
sounds
to see
awesome.
it. The game's
That
amazing.
sounds great. But there was one you liked better than that.
There was one game I liked even better than Rhythm Heaven Megamix, yes.
Son of a beastie.
All right, Dan. Do you have a history with Rhythm Heaven? Have you tried these games before?
Not at all. I want to. Every time you talk about it, I'm like, man, that's a thing I should do. And then I go play Puzzle and Dragons.
You got to try it, man. I mean, do you have a 3DS in your house?
Yeah. I have
Do Megamix. Really, download the demo of Megamix. That's all you need to do. I mean, the fact that you have not played Ringside, which is the game about the rhythm game about interviewing a luchador.
Yeah, that's a thing that I do need to.
You need to experience that in your lifetime. And that is
I really
actually
do.
in the demo. So I mean, you just download the free demo on the 3DS, and you'll get to play Lumberjack. You'll get to play at least the beginning of Ringside. It's so good. It's so good. It's so joyful. It is absolute wonder. Just great.
All right. I mean, I like joy. I'm a joyful kind of guy.
If you get through the demo without smiling, I would be genuinely surprised.
Yeah, well, that's... Yeah.
All right,
So-
what's your number one, dude? What's your number one?
My number one, again, I'm not going to give it to Puzzle and Dragons, even though that's the game that I played literally more than anything else this year, with tons of great new content and lots of stuff. I still don't have Ronov, but one day I will be lucky enough to pull a Ronov on my main. Anyway, we'll get this. That's a whole other thing. My number one game of the year this year was Rise of the Tomb Raider 20 Year Celebration Edition for PlayStation 4. So Rise of the Tomb Raider came out last year on Xbox One, and it was like, oh man, like Lara Croft being exclusive to the Xbox for like a year
Just felt dirty, right?
Weird. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
You know, she's never been the flagship Sony mascot per se, but
yeah, Tomb Raider 1 was on Saturn, but like seriously, that's a PlayStation game.
It is. It's a PlayStation game. She's always been identifiably PlayStation. It was sort of like what we talked about last week when we talked a little bit about Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. Like, yeah, they were on other systems, but like it just didn't feel right.
Exactly. It was Lara Croft is at home on PlayStation. Like,
yeah. So,
sure, it was great that Tomb Raider came out on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah,
bully for that. But
that's awesome.
At the end of the day, when I think Tomb Raider, I think of PlayStation. I don't think of Saturn. Like Resident Evil. When I think of Resident Evil pre-4, I think of PlayStation. Those are PlayStation games. No matter how great the GameCube remake was,
sure,
it's just it was PlayStation was what identified with it, and that's how I've always felt about Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider, if I'm going to play those games, I want to play them on PlayStation.
Yeah, it just feels at home. And what I kind of liked about it was like, all right, well, you know, it's going to be exclusive to Xbox for a year. But, you know, when the game was first coming out last year, it was like, you know, I bet you when they release it on the PlayStation, it's going to have all the DLC and all the extra stuff, and all of that is just going to be included in the package. And lo and behold, it was. So the 20-year celebration has all of the DLC, all of the different stuff. There's like this whole side quest with the Russian witch Baba Yaga that you can get involved in. But for anybody who played the Tomb Raider reboot from a couple of years ago, just a breathtaking game. I mean, just an absolutely stunning experience.
And very good at taking Laura's breath.
Very good at killing Lara.
I played like 2 hours of that game, and I was uncomfortable. Because I'm not good at 3D games, and I died a lot. And every time I was like, oh.
A tree right through the head.
I feel really bad about this.
Yeah, like you feel because she screams in such a way, like it's not like a video game death scream. It's like she's actually hurting. Like, oh,
it's really brutal. Really brutal.
And it's brutal in this game too. Like there's some really interesting death animations in this game. But it is this game. The story is a lot more involved in this one. Like you're going back and you're dealing with her father's death and like the woman that he was married to at the time, and like this weird, like it's a very religious game. Insofar as it deals with religion, like there's a lot of, you're exploring through tombs and you're finding like ancient things in Christianity, and you're like, oh, we're looking for the fountain of youth, and like maybe we're looking for the Holy Grail, and fuck, this is kind of, you know, borderline, like I'm uncomfortable playing some of this stuff, but it's done really, really well. The story's really interesting. The voice acting is really great. It plays incredibly well. Like the bow and arrow in the Tomb Raider games is possibly my favorite weapon that I've ever used in a video game. It just feels so damn good to go through that game just picking people off with a bow and arrow. Like when you played through it, what weapon did you use?
Oh, I didn't play through it. I only played it for like an hour or two.
The hour that you played, were you using the bow and arrow or the guns?
God, did you even? What was? It was in the beginning of the game. She was hurt. I was running around through the woods. I think there was a deer that I killed with something. It must have been the bow and arrow. It must have been.
Yeah.
It was years ago when that actually came out, and I don't remember it. I remember dying a bunch of times. I remember thinking that it was incredibly visceral.
Being bad at it.
I remember thinking that it was gorgeous. Yeah, I remember being bad at it. I remember running around through the woods being hurt. I remember being interested in where it went next, but I'd also borrowed it from a friend, and I had to return it like the next day.
Right.
And then I never got around to playing the rest of it because I never got the game back. I never borrowed it from somebody, and I never went out to buy it myself. But it is one of those games that I wanted to pick up again because I was so into the Uncharted games, like I said before.
Right.
I love those games, and this kind of felt like Tomb Raider was going more in that direction, but it was taking itself more seriously than Uncharted did, but also pulling it off. Because that was something that Tomb Raider never resonated with me in the past. I never was interested in playing the Tomb Raider games because I always felt like they took themselves too seriously and they didn't earn that. Like it always looked goofy. I always thought Lara Croft was just a shitty character, but when they reinvented her for this, she was interesting. I was interested in her story, and it wasn't so much like, oh, I'm Lara Croft and I'm just fantastic and kind of snarky and I run around in impossible outfits with an impossible body and blah, blah, blah. Like, I've never found her to be an interesting, empowering character. I found her to be what she was designed for. She was friggin' eye candy, and I thought she was stupid. And this game subverted that.
It really, really did. And did it so well to such a point. I mean, we've talked multiple times just today about how you and I don't have a lot of time to play video games anymore, which maybe we should be doing a different type of podcast. But it's the original, or not the original, but the Tomb Raider remake, when that came out on PS3, bought it, played through it, loved it. Then the HD version of that, or the upgraded version of that, came out and was like a free download for PS Plus on PS3. So got it on that, played through it again. I bought it for PS4, the HD remix of it, or the upgrade of it, played through it a third time. The remaster, thank you. I've had a lot to drink this evening. The remaster of it, played through that. So that Tomb Raider game I've played through 3 times now. And then Rise of the Tomb Raider came out, and I'm currently almost finished with it now. And it's above all else, on top of the story and on top of the gameplay and all of that stuff, it is one of the prettiest games that I've ever played. There are times when Tiff and I are sitting here on the couch and we're playing through and I just stop and it's like, holy shit. This is absolutely stunning. Just incredible to look at. And they've done such a good job of making these wintry locales that you're located in, which could have been lazy of just it's covered in snow. There's just a bunch of white shit everywhere. They've given them such depth and interest and the shine off of the snow. It's just a stunning game to look at, and it's absolutely the best thing that I played this year. That came out this year.
Nice.
Highly, highly recommended. And especially because you have a PS3, right, Chris?
I do.
Yeah, you need to go back and finish Tomb Raider. I think you could get it, it's $10. Go steal a copy. They won't even be mad. They'll be like, yeah, well, I suppose.
We got plenty of these. It's fine.
Yeah, it's good. Nobody's buying this anymore, except that asshole who beat it 3 times already.
Well, here's the question. Do I go play Tomb Raider or do I finish Guacamelee?
Finish Guacamelee first, then go play Tomb Raider.
All right.
Finish Guacamelee, go play Tomb Raider, go back and play Guacamelee again, because that game's incredible and just deserves to be... But are we talking Guacamelee or Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition?
Super Turbo Championship Edition. That's the one that's on Wii U.
Yeah. That one's fabulous.
I have it on PS3, but the Super Turbo Championship Edition is just phenomenal, and that's another game that I feel really feels at home on the Wii U.
Yeah, and but the stuff that they added to that boss that so cool in the whole new world. Give me a Guacamelee sequel that. I'm calling it right now. When Guacamelee 2 comes out, whatever year that is, game of the year.
Whatever platform it's on, you will own.
That's right.
If it's an Xbox One exclusive, then
Guacamelee 2. I would buy an Xbox One if Guacamelee 2 were exclusive to it. That is how strongly I feel about that game.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, my number 1 game, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration.
All right. So I'll close out the show with my number 1. The absolute, hands down, without a question, best game I played this year was AM2R. I never expected in a million years.
What a bold fucking statement that the best game you played this year was made by a dude.
Yeah.
One guy. Final Fantasy 15 came out this year. That was made by 300 motherfuckers just sitting there with all the money in the world to make that game the best it could be. And their idea was to get gas. But this guy sat down and was like, I'm going to take Metroid 2 and I'm going to make it something truly unique and truly special.
And he did. It's what impresses me so much about this game is that, much like I was praising Axiom Verge for not being Metroid, I praise AM2R for being 100% pure Metroid. This game is nothing short of a masterpiece. It took elements of all the 2D Metroid games and elements of Metroid Prime. And that's what surprised me so much about this, that it was able to successfully incorporate elements of Metroid Prime and still make it feel like a 2D Metroid. It was, when you walk into a room and the little words come up, scanning environment. Right. It's incorporating the scanning without you actually actually having to stand there and scan things. It gives you an option every single area you go to look at and read a whole story about the environment, and the story that was created for this about the surviving team of Federation scientists that are still somewhere on SR-388, that they took these environments that were in the original Game Boy game and gave reasons for stuff like the area with all the pipes was a water purification center. The thought that went into making this game what it was is astounding to me. And they took Metroid 2, which was a very obtuse game and a very kind of non-Metroid game in a lot of ways with its exploration and its map, and managed to make it feel so distinctly Metroid. The art direction is phenomenal in the game. It is missing just that ever so slight twinge of Nintendo polish here and there, but really it's just such a small nick against it for all of the things that it did so much more right than I think any of the blood that has been working on Metroid games would even consider to think of. But then again, it's been so long since there's been a new 2D Metroid that's really tough for me to say, because then I think back to what they did with Zero Mission, which was the inspiration for this, and some of the things they did in that game were really, really, truly inspired. But this game, absolutely blew my mind, because I did not expect to feel like I had just played a new Metroid game. I felt like, you remember when the Capcom X, Mega Man X Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Like, that was cool, but it wasn't like playing a new Mega Man game. It was like playing
fun.
A Mega Man fan game. That's what I expected out of AM2R. I expected to play this game and have it feel like a fan game, and it did not. This game
feels
lives
like
up.
A production game.
It does. It feels absolutely up to the standards of something that Nintendo could release. Like,
I've played a lot of fan games, because it's, you download an emulator and you're like, oh, this is cool. I can play some of these old, games. Like, this is what is this? What is this new thing that there's a Mega Man game? This is cool. I'll check this out. Or there's a 2D like action adventure Zelda game, but like where I'm actually Zelda. Like, somebody took the joke of like Link is not Zelda and just made a Zelda is the hero game. Like, this is kind of cool, but they still, they're just off. There's something off about them. They don't have that polish. They don't have that skill, I guess, not to disparage the people that make these games. I can't fucking make them.
But they're fan fiction, essentially, at the end of the day. Yeah. And sometimes that shit is amazing, and sometimes it's just okay. But sometimes it's
Super Mario Brothers replaced with penises.
Exactly. But this shit is next Super level. When I finished playing, as I was playing AM2R, it reminded me of how much I missed playing Metroid. Like, how much I always knew that I wanted a new 2D Metroid game, but this really made me realize just how much I wanted a new 2D Metroid game. And having played through it, when I finished the game, I was like, damn, that felt so good to do. And that last boss fight against the Queen Metroid was just ridiculous. Because that fight in the Game Boy game was intimidating, and it's really as good as it could have been for a Game Boy game. But when you're blasting that thing and then it just puts you through a wall, and then the fight is going from area to area as everything's crashing down around you, like, that was unexpected. That was brilliant. it's genius. The game is genius, and I have to talk about the music too, because the music was
So
also
good.
a really, really impressive thing that they did with this game. Because when I saw pictures of AM2R over the years, what I expected the music to do was similar to what they did with Zero Mission, where this is a 2D Metroid game, so obviously it's going to sound. They're going to try to make it sound like the standard of that, which is Super Metroid, which they then followed up with in Fusion and again in Zero Mission, of that style of music with like that kind of choral sounding. Like they didn't do that at all with AM2R. They went the Metroid Prime route, but they Metroid primed music from Metroid 2 and even pulled another couple of tracks from the series like Super Metroid, and it's genius. Like the main theme of Metroid 2 is one of my favorites, one of my favorite Game Boy songs. It's a phenomenal piece of music, and I always had in my head what I thought it was going to sound like in Super Metroid style. And when I fired it up in this game and it sounds like something out of Metroid Prime, I was floored. I was floored. The title screen music, the way that they tied that gorgeous melody that came out of the Game Boy one, if you actually sat through the weird creepy sound effects that were coming out of the title screen long enough to hear the actual melody of it, the way they tied that into the original Metroid theme is, every piece of this game is so thoughtful. It was done with so much thought, so much love, and so much care for the source material. There's no way Nintendo was not completely impressed by this game.
Right. And I think you're right. Like, every single piece of this was, how can this be the best version of this? Not what can I do to get this out, because I've been working on this game for 13 fucking years and I want it out now, but what is going to make this the very best thing that it could be?
Yeah, you could tell that there were no. This was John Hammond making Jurassic Park. He spared no expense. Looked at every single animation, and you can look at the dev blog on it. You can look at the way that they looked at every single creature in this game, all the absurd character designs, the monster designs from Metroid 2, and made them into sprites that matched the art style that they were going to. The feeling, the weight of Samus jumping is the culmination of. It's a perfect combination of the way she felt in Fusion and Zero Mission. It is just the weight of her is spot on, and I wish I had a better system to play it on with a better controller, because Matt Much lent me a laptop so that I could play it, and Dean lent me a really crappy USB Super Nintendo controller to play it with, and I would kill to be able to play this properly on a television with a proper controller, because the game's it is absolutely worthy of the Metroid name, and the fact that Nintendo got out Metroided in 2016, Nintendo drops Federation Force and fan dropped AM2R, is what a weird friggin' year, man. What a weird year.
Is. And I want to play this on my 3DS. That's where I want to play this game. I mean, I played it on my TV. And I too have just a cheap rock candy USB controller, which is adequate. But this is a game, and it was free. There was no option to pay for this.
There's no way. I was just, here it is, take it.
Have this, because I love it so much, and I want other people to experience this. And like we said earlier in the show, this was out on the internet for a couple of days, which means it just now exists. You'll be able to get a copy of it. And if you have not played this game and you have a computer, you don't even need a particularly new computer. You could play this on a relatively old computer. Get this fucking game. It's so good.
It is so worth your time in every single regard. And much like Tom Happ after Axiom Verge, after Reggie saw Axiom Verge, they said, we're getting this on Wii U. It's happening. And I remember when they were showing it off at E3, and the whole oh, this looks like Metroid. Well, somebody made Metroid. Well, somebody ought to. Like that whole exchange. Like I remember that so well, and I remember, I can't remember where I heard it from, but yeah, that they made sure that Axiom Verge found its way to Wii U was very important, and just like that, I hope that Nintendo is offering the guy who made AM2R a job. I hope that guy is getting recognized for this, because that is a talent right there. It is
really
a very
is.
serious talent.
It really is.
That did just remind me that I have to issue a correction on something I said last week. We talked about we talked about Platonic and Ukulele, and I said that Wii U was the lead platform for it, and I didn't know that. I was corrected by I think it was Matt Hanola, was it? No, somebody. Anthony Mann contacted me on Twitter and pointed out that it was the lead platform was actually PC. Okay. And I was like, I read somewhere that the lead platform was Wii U. I was really confused about that, and then I went to go look it up, and I couldn't find it again. Well, I eventually figured out where I got that information from, and it actually still doesn't change a lot about what I said. Is that for the console ports, the only one that Platonic themselves was working on was the Wii U one.
Okay.
That was their lead console platform. Like, it was being ported from the PC game, but they were handling it themselves. Like, they made the PC game, and then they ported it to Wii U, and they outsourced the PS4 and Xbox One versions to other companies. Okay. So yeah, the Wii U was not the lead platform. It is still a very strange situation, but I thought it was interesting that they were like, no, the Wii U version is a top priority. This needs to be played on a Nintendo platform. Much like we were talking about with Tomb Raider, feeling PlayStation, this is a Banjo-Kazooie game. It needs to be played on a Nintendo platform. So,
right.
But yes, thank you very much to Anthony Mann for pointing that out. Because I never want to spout misinformation if I can help it. And
I do.
Well, yes, of course. Anthony was real nice about it, and obviously we had a little conversation afterwards. But yes, that is my correction on that. But yes, back to the topic at hand. AM2R is my 2016 SAGJGLD winner. It is the best game I played this year. It is also the best game I think that came out this year on any platform. Because I looked through...
It's hard to disagree, man.
I looked at the list of every game that came out this year. I mean, outside of... I'm sure there are more games that aren't on the Wikipedia page of every game that came out this year, like download games and whatnot. But I looked down that list, and there wasn't... I'm looking at all the games that came out, and I'm like, I didn't play a ton of games this year, but I'm not seeing anything on this list that I think to myself, boy, I really wish I had played that game.
I wanted to play Uncharted 4 this year, didn't get to it. Mm-hmm. I wanted to play The Witcher, Witcher 3, didn't get to it, and probably won't for a while. Like, I know it's a great game, and it's something that I would probably enjoy, but very similar to Shadows of Mordor a couple years ago. I mean, I'm sure it's great, and I would have a good time with it, but I'm not, like, dying to play it. So, yeah, AM2R, man.
Damn good game. All right, well, that's going to be it. Boy, this was a long one, huh?
Well, I had to take that break in the middle.
That's true, and then we talked about Doctor Who for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
These things happen. So, all right, that's our show. Join us next week when we will be talking about video games again for the first time in 2017. We haven't decided what we're going to talk about, but...
let's preview the year.
Let's preview the year. Let's do I think that's a great idea. Let's preview 2017. I was going to say do a 2016 year in review, but I think we did enough of that today. So yeah. 2017 year in preview is going to be what we're talking about next week. So
all about the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, which
just
is
go
pretty
listen
much
a couple weeks ago. It'll be fine.
All we know. All right, now January 12th, man. That is this coming up. I have thoughts. But yeah, there's more than that, and it's 2017 is shaping up to be an interesting year for entertainment as a whole. But so let us know what you think is happening in 2017 by mailing us at mail@geekade.com, and also as well as all the flavors of social media that we inhabit. You can like us on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Geekade, subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels for all our latest video content, follow us on Twitter at _Geekade. You can find us individually on Twitter. I am at Geekade Kris, that's Geekade Kris, and Dan is available at
Geekade Dan.
If you're interested in more information about anything we discussed tonight, be sure to check out our show notes. And while you're at it, you can also subscribe to this and any of our other wonderful podcasts on iTunes or Stitcher. Or if you're super nice, you can leave us a review, because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. I'd also like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making our show listenable to all you folks. And we'd also like to thank Mark TDK Knight for our show's theme. You can check him out on SoundCloud, Bandcamp, or his website, which we have a link to in the show notes. Again, always remember to keep your eyes on geekade.com, where we post something new every single day. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for surviving 2016 with us. It's been an interesting year, but we're still doing this every week until the internet is taken down and our freedoms are all taken away.
So January 21st.
January 21st.
We're 3 episodes left.
We are still doing this show as long as they let us. So yes, thank you very much for listening. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.